Alrighty, so as you can see, I've made quite a few changes here to the setup, so I just wanted to walk through them real quick. So we'll just call this April 2026 pedalboard walkthrough. So as you can see here, I changed from the Neve 88M to the Audient Evo 4. Now, why on earth would I trade out a $1,400 interface for a, whatever this is, $160 interface? Well, I don't really need it. That's a whole lot of firepower I'm using for what I'm finding I can get away with what you're looking at here. So the Evo 4's in. Only notable difference with the Evo 4 is, in setting it up, I've had a couple days, I've got everything working the way I want it now, is you do have to use secondary functions, and you have to unplug the headphones. You can't switch between the speakers and headphones just on the fly. You got to plug in your headphones or take them out. Minor, but it is a factor. The new user experience otherwise for me was the Audient was, it's probably me, but it was, they keep talking about the app that you use, but they have no download link for it. And you can't view the user manual until you've registered on the website, which, all right, fair enough. But you'd think if you want your product out there in the world, you'd want to let potential customers dig into the owner's manuals to see if they want to use it or not. It certainly, in my mind, would be a means to drive sales within a business, but they keep talking about the app, and there is no app to download. It took me a while to figure out that the drivers are the app, which I found completely annoying, and it took that excitement of setting something up and turned it into about an hour of trying to figure out what the hell they're talking about. So the new user experience wasn't good, but now that I've got it working, I actually like it quite a bit. It's small. It sounds pretty good. I think, again, I've got it dialed in. I've used the Smart Gain. Smart Gain's convenient. I personally don't necessarily need it, but I like it, and I'm going to use it going forward because this gain stage, I just need it to get into the computer. So it's not a critical stage for me to have to get in and dial because I have a lot of other things that I need to spend more time on. And again, in my situation, I'm looking to get in and out quick. So, but the sound quality is great. Ease of use is good. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of secondary functions. That's the only reason I say that. But the ergonomics of the thing is good. For instance, if I want to monitor differently, I just hit that button, and you can see on the dial here. Now I'm listening to both. Now I'm listening to the computer. Now I'm listening to direct monitoring. So it's easy to do that. Then I can go back to the volume. I can hold this button down to mute. At least I think I can. Yeah, there we go. Now it's on mute. You can see it's blinking. So again, very intuitive if you ask me. Smart Gain, you hit the, I have these two, I have the preamps linked. So I hit Smart Gain 1, and then when I'm ready with whatever signal I'm sending it, I hit it again. It actually mutes it while it's doing the auto gain. And the auto gain, I haven't had to tweak really. So everything works great on it. And again, it's nice and clean. The USB-C to USB-C cable should have come with it. But it comes with a USB-C to USB-A cable, which I found irritating. Does anything have a USB-A connection anymore? Something you'd think they would have. I think this thing's been out for about 6 years. You would think they would have updated that, but I would imagine if they did a USB-C to USB-C cable, all the people with USB-A would complain. So that part is what it is. So there we go. New interface. Sounds good. I've posted a couple recordings of it so far, and each time I've incrementally dialed it in a little bit, and it's great. Somehow I went into mute mode again. I guess you got to hold it down to take it back out of mute. Test, test, test. Yeah. Okay. So hold it down to take it out of mute. So you must get a momentary, or while you're in mute, it can just show you where the volume was at prior to mute. I'll have to experiment with that minor thing. Okay. So let's move on. Pedal Train Nano Plus. I love this thing. It's so neat, it's so small, it's so clean, and I get all my sounds, or at least so far I do. I guarantee you I'll get the itch to use my amps again, but I have my Powerload IR. I can just send it right into the GT1000 core here, turn off the amp models in here, and I'm back in business. The only thing I really changed in the GT1000 core is I changed the master delay to the warm style delay instead of the bouncing around panning one. It got a little too distracting for me. I just changed the mix between the master delay and delay 1 just to give it a little that's it. That's all I need. And then what I did is I moved the reverb. Oops, wrong pedal. Then I moved the reverb to the end of the chain and turned it into a room reverb, just because I want the drums and the bass to not sound so dry. Now they have a little space, and I'm using it kind of like a master reverb, so everybody gets the same space. And I'll let the delays kind of handle all the tails that I'm looking for. So I did that. Trio, nothing's really changed there. The trio is basically my bass and drums and my looper. And I can do just loops, by the way, on it. I have a couple times. I haven't. Again, I keep telling myself I'm going to dig into this Trio Plus, but what it does for my setting is good enough. It's enough to satisfy me. So that brings me over to the Zoya. Now, again, because I'm using the GT1000 core, I cannot use the Zoya in stereo because I have to use the return 2 on the GT1000 core for the bass and the drums, which is fine. So the Zoya I've been messing with, so I rewrote a Cloud Tempo patch in mono, and I've been experimenting with different ways of using it. More just dialing in type of stuff than anything. I experimented with like 2 different delay lines, one tape delay, one bucket brigade delay. But the way I had it was pretty close. So what I did is on the outputs of the vibrato, as well as the outputs on the delays, I added compression to the end of them. I'm hitting them with a threshold of -14 at a 2.6 to 1, just a little bump on them, just to help keep it from cutting in and out. I think I tamed it a little bit, if that makes sense. I sent those into a 4-channel mixer, and then the output of that 4-channel mixer into the output of the pedal. That's really the main changes I did on this. I experimented with a bunch of different things, but that's the extent of the changes. And that's really it. So, man, I love having a nice, clean setup. And I'm later today, or this weekend, this is my weekend off, I'm going to get the pedal closet out, and it's time to have a yard sale on Reverb. So I'm going to be selling a lot of stuff, which is great. This is kind of my vision when I had to go into headphones for my amps. And then, of course, I ended up with this giant pedal board on the desk, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot more fickle, but instead of using 180 feet of cable, I'm using like 6. And that alone can result in a different quality of tone because of that. I'm finding that, when you spend time with one piece of gear, you really start to get out of it what you want. And the GT1000 Core, and I have to say, of all the modelers I've used and capture devices, the AIRD captures sound better to me today, at least. They sound better to me than my live amps through a load box. And I've used 2 different load boxes at this point. Amp with a mic still sounds the best, but these AIRD and not the ones that emulate a Marshall or a JC120. The ones they have generic names. Like the one I'm using here is called I think it's just called the Natural. Where are we? Yeah, it's just the one they call the Natural amp. And to me, it sounds great. Well, that's something else I added in here, I should say. So what I did is I tried to emulate a Pultec EQ by using 2 EQ modules in the GT1000 Core. And I kind of took the settings I was using on the Equilux and tried to replicate them in there. And it doesn't have that nice creaminess, but it's close. So everything's, as I put myself in a situation like this where instead of being distracted by 4 million variables, I've only got 1 million variables, and that puts me in a situation where I can, get more out of this thing. And as time goes on, I guarantee I'm going to get more out of this thing. So the middle foot switch here is the looper on the GT1000 Core. I think it's just 20-second looper, but I can set up a base for the pads over here if I want. Or once I have that set, I can add something in there to augment it. This is tuner. And I did see a thing that said that Boss is getting sued for having this TC Electronics style tuner display. So now I'm afraid to update this thing, because if they lost the lawsuit as it was described, the next update on this is going to take that away. So I might have to call this thing good. And then over here's tap tempo. The only thing I have to do still is I need to add, and I got to dig out a cable. I just haven't yet. Send a MIDI clock to the Zoya so I can sync up the tap tempo, but not a major thing, because I usually like to do different tap rate than this. But in any case, I'm going to mute this and let's make some noise, see how it sounds.